Good day, everyone. I am Bonifacio Jr. Dinamo, your reporter for the subject Sociology and Anthropology, the self as the product of modern society and culture. So let's talk about first the meaning of sociology. Sociology refers to social behavior, society, patterns of social relationship, social interaction, and culture that surrounds everyday in life. Or in other words, it refers in social or in society. Anthropology is defined as a study of humankind over time and space, or simply defined as a study of humanity. It is an interdisciplinary field that seeks to answer humanity's biggest question: who are we and where do we come from? So our objectives for this subject is follow the psychological concept on self-development. So let's start in psychological perspective on self-development. First philosopher is Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was one of the most influential modern societies to put forth a theory about how people develop a sense of self. He is also an Australian neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis. Freud was born to Galician Jewish parents in the Moravian town of Freiburg. He is also believed that personality and sexual development were closely linked. He divided the maturation process into psychosexual stages, which is the oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genial stages. So, in oral stage, which the developing infant main concern are oral gratification. The oral phase in the normal infant has direct being on infant activities during the first 18 months of life. Yun nga, sa oral stage, kung sa Tagalog para na maintindihan, ay sa oral stage ay 0 to 18 months or 1.5 year. Sabi dito sa oral stage, ito ang unang stage na kung saan ang isang bata ay nakasilento lamang sa aktibidad na kaugnay ng kanyang bibig tulad ng pagsuso at iba pa. The second one is the anal stage. Anal stage is the period of human development occurring about 1 to 3 years. So kung dun sa oral ay 0 to 18 months, dito naman ay 1 to 3 years of age. Around this age, the child begins to train, which bring about the child's fascination in the erogenous zone of the anus. The erogenous zone is the focus on the bowel bladder control. So, dito naman sa anal stage ay 1 to 3 years old. Sabi dito, kung sa Tagalog, para lang maintindihan, ay ito ay nakasento lamang sa gawaing bagay na nakaugnay sa anal o sa puwet tulad ng pagkontrol ng pagtatae o maging man sa pag-ihi. So, third one is the phallic stage, which is the third stage of psychosexual development spanning the ages of 3 to 6 years. Sabi dun sa anal ay 1 to 3 years of age. Dito naman ay 3 to 6 years of age, wherein the infant libido centers upon their genitalia as the erogenous zone. Dito naman sa pangatlo ay tinatawag na phallic stage, kung sa Tagalog, kung saan lumalabas ang mga senyales na kinalaman sa sexualidad at pagkakaroon ng matinding atraksyon ng anak na lalaki sa kanyang ina, o tinatawag natin Oedipus complex base or Oedipus rex dula ni Sophocles, at ang matinding atraksyon ng anak na babae sa kanyang ama o tinatawag natin Electra complex na hango sa isang akda na pinatay ang kanyang ina at kalaguyo para iganti ang ama. Ang totoo, ang Oedipus complex ay hindi lamang sa pagitan ng anak ng anak na lalaki at kanyang ina na, kundi maging magpagitan ng anak na ama at inakalang karibal niya sa ina. So, last stage natin ay ang sunod natin stage is the latency stage, which is the stage of personality development extending from about 4 or 5 years of age to the beginning of the puberty, during which sexual urges appear to lie and dormant. So, dito naman sa pang-apat na stage, which is the latency stage, sinasabi dito na nangyari sa panahon na ito, nagsisimula na mag-aaral ang bata at nakikipaglaban na ito sa kanyang kapwa bata. So, kung naalala natin sa elementary days natin, dito sa taon na to, 4 to 6 years or 4 to 5 years ay natutunan tayong lumaban. So, last stage natin is the genital stage, which is the psychoanalysis is the term used by Sigmund Freud to describe the final stage of human psychosexual development. The individual develops a strong sexual interest in the people of the outside family. Dito naman sa panghuling stage ay sinasabi na dito nagsisimula na ang pagbibinata at pagdadalaga ng isang bata hanggang sa pagiging ganap na pagka-adult ng kanyang sexualidad. So, iyon ang 6 na psychosexual stages na ginawa ni Sigmund Freud. He posited that prepubescent self-development is closely linked to early stage of development like breastfeeding, toilet training, and sexual awareness. Sociology or psychology, what's the difference? As a general difference, we might say that while both disciplines are interested in human behavior, psychologists are focused on how the mind influences that behavior, while sociologists study the role of society in shaping behavior. From the word psycho, it means mind, while socio means society, simple like that. Psychologists are interested in people's mental development and how their minds process their words. So, sabi dito, ang psychologist ay nakapokus lang sa mental development o kung paano papaganahin yung isip ng tao sa mundo. So, sa sociologists naman, sociologists are more likely to focus on how different aspects of society contribute to an individual relationship with this word. So, sabi ko nga kanina, from the word socio means society. So, sinasabi dito sa sociologist na nakapokus sila sa iba't ibang aspect ng society na kung saan paano makaka-contribute o makakatulong ang isang individual sa kanilang nasasakupan. The second philosopher is Emile Durkheim. So, Emile Durkheim, as a French sociologist, is formally established the academic discipline of sociology, and with Karl Marx and Max Weber, is commonly cited as the principal architect of modern social science. Emile Durkheim was the first to make this distinction in research when he attributed differences in suicide rates among people to social causes, religious differences, rather than to psychological causes like their mental well-being. Durkheim 1897, sabi dito ay naiugnay ang pagkakaiba ng mga pagkreasyon ng pagkamatay ng tao sa sanhi ng lipunan, mga pagkakaiba sa relihiyon kaysa sa sanhi ng psychological tulad ng kanilang kagalingan pangkaisipan. Sometimes sociologists and psychologists have collaborated to increase knowledge. Pag sinabi natin increase ay madagdagan. In recent decades, however, their fields have become more early separated as sociologists increasing focus large social issue and patterns while psychologists remains honed in the human mind. So sabi naman dito ay minsan ang nakipagtulungan ang sociologist at psychologist upang madagdagan ang kaalaman sapagkat uh, madali silang nahiwalay ay ang sosyolohiya ay nakatuon pa rin sa malaking isyu panglipunan habang ang psychologist ay nanatiling naasa sa kaisipan ng tao. Next philosopher is Erik Erikson. So, Erik Erikson was a German-American developmental psychologist and psychoanalyst known for his theory on the psychological development of human beings. He may be most famous for coining the phrase identity crisis. His son, Kai T. Erikson, is noted American psychologist. So, Erikson was born on 15th of June 1905 in Germany, died at 12th of May 1994. So, Erik Erikson created a theory of personality development based in a part on the work of Freud. However, Erikson believed that personality continued to change over time and was never truly finished. His theory includes 8 stages of development, beginning with the birth and ending with death. So, sabi dito ni Erik Erikson ay ginawa ang teorya ng pag-unlad ng personalidad batay sa bahagi sa gawain ni Freud. Gayunpaman, naniwala si Erikson na ang personalidad ay patuloy na nagbabago sa paglipas ng panahon at hindi kailanman natatapos. Kasama sa kanyang teorya ang 8 yugto ng pag-unlad na nagsisimula sa pagsilang at natapos sa kamatayan. So, according to Erikson, people move through this stage throughout their lives. Erikson's view of self-development gave credit to more social aspect, like the way we negotiate between our own base desire and what is socially accepted. Erik Erikson, 1982. So, sinabi naman dito ni Erikson na ang mga tao ay dumadaan sa mga yugtong ito sa buong yugto ng kanilang buhay. Sa pagtingin ni Erikson sa pag-unlad sa sarili ay nagbibigay ng higit pang mga aspeto sa lipunan tulad ng paraan na makikipag-ayos sa pagitan ng sariling mga hangarin sa batay at kung ano pa tinatanggap ng isang lipunan. The next philosopher is Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist known for his work on child development. Piaget's theory of cognitive development and epidemiological view are together called genetic epidemiology. Piaget places great importance on the education of children. So, he is also a psychologist specialized in child development, focusing especially on the role of social interaction in their development. He recognized the development of self evolved through negotiation between world as it existing in one mind and the world that exists as experienced socially in Piaget 1954. All of these thinkers have contributed to our modern understanding of a self. So, sabi dito ay si Jean Piaget niya ay isang sociologist na nagpakadalubhasa upang malaman kung paano ang pag-unlad ng isang bata na nakatuon espesyal na papel na pakinabang o pakikipag-ugnayan sa isang lipunan na kanilang kinabibilangan. kinilala niya ang pag-unlad ng sarili na nagbago sa pamamagitan ng isang negosasyon sa pamamagitan ng mundo dahil sa umiiral nitong kaisipan ng isang tao at sa mundong umiiral na karanasan ng isang lipunan. So, sabi din dito is yung cognitive development. So, what is cognitive development? So, cognitive development means how children think, explore, and figure things out. It is the development of knowledge, skills, problem solving, and disposition which help children to think about, to understand, and the world around them. Brain development is part of cognitive development. So, ayun nga. Si James Fidget ay nakatuon sa pagpapaunlad na nagbibigay malay sa kaisipan ng isang bata kung papaano iniisip o kung papaano tuklasin at malaman ng isang bata ang mga bagay-bagay. Ito ay ang pag-unlad sa kaalaman, kasanayan, paglutas sa mga problema at mga ugali na nakakatulong sa mga bata na mag-isip tungkol sa iba't ibang uri at kung paano maunawaan na ang mundo ay kanilang nasa paligid. Ang pagpaunlad ng utak ay bahagi ng pagpaunlad na nagbibigay malay sa kanila, lalo na sa mga bata. So, Fidget was the first psychologist to make a systematic study of cognitive development. So, sinasabi lang dito na si Jean Fidget ay isa at unang psychologist na gumawa na development about sa bata, which is the cognitive development. His contribution include the stage theory of child cognitive development, detailed observational studies of cognition in children, and series of simple but ingenious tests to reveal different cognitive abilities. In September 2016, 2013. Sinasabi lang dito na nagpakadalubhasa si James Fidget sa pag-aaral nakatuon sa development ng isang bata, which is na tinatawag natin na cognitive development. In psychological self-development, let's go in sociological self-development. So next philosopher is Charles Cooley. Charles Cooley was an American sociologist and the son of Michigan Supreme Court Judge Thomas M. Cooley. He studied and went on to teach economics and sociology at the University of Michigan. He was a founding member of the American Sociological Association in 1905 and became its 8th president in 1918. He born on August 17, 1864 and died on May 8, 1929. Charles Cooley was one of the most pioneer contributors to sociological perspective. He asserted that people's self-understanding is constructed in part by their perception of how others view them, a process termed the looking glass self. Cooley, 1902. So, sinasabi dito ni Cooley na ang isa sa mga nagbibigay panguna sa pananaw sa sociological. Iginigit niya na ang pag-unawa sa sarili ng mga tao ay binubuo sa bahagi sa pamamagitan ng kanilang pagkaunawa sa kung paano sila tingnan ng iba. Isa sa prosesong tinatawag ay ang the looking glass self. The term looking glass self was created by American sociologist Charles Horton Cooley in the year 1902 and introduced into his work Human Nature and the Social Order. It is described as one of the reflection of how we think we appear to others. To further explain would be how oneself imagines how others view him or her. So, sinasabi naman dito na katagang naghahanap sa sarili ay nilikha ng Amerikanong si Charles Cooley noong 1902 na pinakilala sa kanyang akda na Human Nature at Social Order. Inilarawan ito bilang pagsalamin sa kung papaano tingin na lumitaw kami sa iba upang higit na paliwanag kung papaano maiisip ng sarili kung paano siya tingnan ng iba. So let's go to the next philosopher, which is George Mead. George Mead was an American philosopher, sociologist, psychologist, primarily affiliated with the University of Chicago, where he was one of the several distinguished pragmatists. He was born on February 27, 1863 in United States and died April 26, 1931 in United States. George Herbert Mead was studied as self, a person distinct identified that is development through social. Mead believed that there is a specific path of development that all people go through. During the preparatory stage, children are only capable of limitation. They have no ability to imagine how others see things. So, sinasabi dito sa preparatory stage na sa panahon ng yugto ng paghahanda, ang mga bata may kakayahan lamang na limitasyon. Wala silang kakayahang isipin kung paano nakita ng iba ang mga bagay-bagay. This is followed by play stage, which is children begins to take role that person might have. Thus, children might try on a parent's point of view by acting grow-up behavior like playing dress up and acting out the mom role, or talking at a telephone the way they see the father do. So, sinasabi naman dito sa stage na to, na sinundan ito ng yugto ng paglalaro na kung saan na ang mga bata ay nagsisimulang gawin ng mga papel na maaaring mayroon ang mga taong nakapaligid sa kanila, katulad ng kanilang ama at ina. Sa gayon, ang mga bata ay maaaring subukan ang pananaw ng mga magulang sa pamamagitan ng pag-arte ng matanda sa pag-uugali tulad ng paglalaro at magbihis at pag-aarte ng papel ng ina o pakikipag-usap sa isang laruan ng telepono na parang nakita nila ang kanilang ama. And the last stage is the game stage. Game stage, children learn to consider several roles at the same time and how those roles interact with each other. They learn to understand interaction involving different people with a variety of purpose. So, dito naman sa stage na to, which is the game stage, sa panahon ng higto ng laro ay natutunan ang mga bata na isalang-alang ang maraming tungkulin ng sabay at kung paano nakipag-ugnayan ang mga tungkulin sa bawat isa. Natutunan nilang maunawaan ang mga pakikipag-ugnayan na kinasangkutan ng iba't ibang tao na may iba't ibang layunin. And panghuli ay children develop, understand, and learn the idea of generalized other, the communication, or the common behavioral expectation of general society. So, sinasabi naman dito na ang panghuli ay ang mga bata ay nagkakaroon ng pagkaunawa at pagkatuto ng ideya sa pangkalatang iba't iba pang karaniwang inaasahan sa pag-uugali ng pangkalatang lipunan. So let's go to the next philosopher, which is Lawrence Skorberg. Lawrence Skorberg theory of moral development. So Lawrence Skorberg was an American psychologist best known for his theory of stages of moral development. He served as a professor in psychology department at the University of Chicago and at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University on October 25, 1927. Lawrence Kohlberg said that moral development is an important part of socialization process. The term refers to the people learn what society considered to be good and bad, which is important for smoothly functioning society. Moral development prevents people from acting unsecured just, instead considering what is right for society and good for others. He was interested of how people learn to decide whether what is right and what is wrong. So sinasabi dito ni Lawrence Kohlberg na ang pagpapaunlad ng isang moral ay isang mahalagang bahagi ng proseso ng pakikipagsalamuha na tumutukoy sa mga tao na malaman kung ano ang maituturing ng lipunan o ano ang itinuturing ng lipunan na ito ba ay masama o mabuti, na mahalaga para sa maayos na pagpapaandar ng isang lipunan. Pinipigilan ng pag-unlad ng moral ang mga tao na kumilos na hindi napipigilan ng mga panghihimok na hindi napipilitan, kumbaga. Sa halip isinasalang-alang kung ano ang tama para sa lipunan at mabuti para sa iba. Interesado siya kung paano matutunan ng mga tao ang pagpapasyang ito, kung ano nga ba ang tama at kung ano ang mali. To understand the topic, he developed a theory of moral development that includes three levels, which is pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. In pre-conventional stage, young children who lack a higher level of cognitive ability experience the world around them only through their senses. It isn't until the teen years that the conventional develops, when youngsters become increasingly aware of other feelings and take those consideration of determining what's good and bad. The final stage is called post-convention, where the people begin to think of morality in abstract terms, such as Americans believing that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and pursuit to happiness. At this stage, people recognize the legality of morality do not always match evenly. Our last Sociology and Psychology is Karen Gillingham, which is an American feminist, ethicist, and psychologist best known for her work on ethical community and ethical relationship and certain subject-object problems in ethics. Born on 28th of November 1936. Another sociologist, Karen Gillingham, 1936, recognized that Kohlberg's theory might show gender bias since his research was only conducted on male subject. Would female study subject respond differently? Would female scientists notice different patterns when analyzing the research? So, ilan lang to sa mga kanyang katanungan, dahil nga nasabi niyang bias ang teorya ni Kohlberg dahil ito ay patungkol lamang sa mga lalaki. Sabi nga dito ay kinilala ni Karen Gillingham ang teorya ni Kohlberg na maaaring nagpakita ng bias na kasarian dahil ang kanyang pagsasaliksik ay isinagawa lamang sa asignaturang panglalaki. She set out to study the difference between how boys and girls develop morality. Gillingham research demonstrates that boys and girls do in fact have different understanding of morality. Boys tend to have a justice perspective, placing emphasis on rules and laws. Girls, on the other hand, have a care and responsibility perspective. They consider people reason behind behavior that seems morally wrong. Gilligan also recognized that Colvick's theory rested on the assumption that justice perspective was right or better perspective. Gilligan in the construct realized that neither perspective was better. The two norms of justice serve different purposes. Boys are socialized for work environment when rules make operation run smoothly, while girls are socialized for the home environment where flexibility allows for harmony and caretaking and nurturing. Sabi dito ay nagtakda nga siya ng pag-aaral na kung saan nagpapakita ng kung paano nabuo ang moralidad ng isang lalaki at ng babae. Pinapakita ng pananalisig ni Gilligan na ang lalaki at babae sa katunayan may pagkakaibang pag-unawa o moralidad. Ang lalaki ay may posibilidad na magkaroon ng isang pananaw sa hustisya na nagbibigay ng diin sa patakaran at batas. Ang babae naman ay mayroong pananaw sa pangangalaga at responsibilidad na isinaalang nila ang dahilan ng mga tao sa likod ng pag-uugali na tila mali sa normal. Sabi pa ni Gilligan, ang mga batang lalaki ay kinakasalamuha para sa isang kapaligiran sa trabaho. Kapag ang patakaran ay ginawa ng maayos ng pagtakbo ng trabaho, habang ang mga batang babae ay nasisisyosahan para sa isang kapaligiran sa bahay kung saan pinapayagan ng kakayahang umangkop sa pagkakasundo sa pag-aalaga at pangangalaga. So this will be the end of my report. I hope you understand and listen and also learn from what I been report. Thank you for your listening.